a lot of times your friends and family or people just you hang with don't really know what your goals are, what your aspirations are. And usually that tends to, because at the end of the day, they want you to be happy too.
Yeah.
So they're gonna push you to do things that it's gonna be fun. That and that might mean drinking a little bit more. That might mean eating this extra appetizer, or whatever it is. Because it's fun. You feel good in the moment. But if you actually can let them know what you're trying to work on and let them know how important it is, and hey, I really would appreciate if you support me in this. Most likely they're going to either A, be more supportive and help you along that journey and maybe even join you with that, right? Or B, you're going to notice that they're just not the type of person that really cares about anybody but themselves. Damn!
Yeah, damn.
3 ways your environment can sabotage your weight loss efforts.
Okay, not 3 ways you can sabotage your efforts.
That's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah, so 3 ways your environment will sabotage your efforts.
The first topic of discussion here is not depending on willpower and discipline to get you to that weight loss effort, to get you to that result, I guess I should say. And first we're going to start off with a story of a nutritionist that worked with a professional basketball team.
Oh, yeah. So the nutritionist that worked with the professional basketball team traveled with that team, and obviously his job was to make sure that they were eating foods that were healthful and well balanced, that aligned with their, their goals for athletic performance. And every time they went out to a restaurant or they were going out to eat, the nutritionist would actually do a little homework beforehand and pull up the menu and pretty much cherry pick out the healthy items on the menu and would recreate another menu for the athletes and would present that menu to them when they would go out to eat, versus them having the menu with everything on it. So the nutritionist basically cultivated that environment for those athletes. So it took out a little bit of willpower from the equation, right? So they weren't dependent on willpower to choose the things that were going to be more healthful and bountiful for their nutrition. And I just thought that was such a cool way to kind of again, create the environment in a restaurant, because that tends to be one of the hardest places for us to keep a nice balanced meal.
And he even went as far as actually looking at the menu at the hotel. So the guys would have what is it called? Room service.
Yeah.
Room service.
Ding, 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 ding.
And
room service.
They had a special menu in the rooms that were only for the ball players, because this guy actually did his homework and did a little work ahead of time. So a secret here about discipline is that usually the most disciplined person actually uses it the least, because they have this environment set up that makes it easy to kind of move in the right direction. And that's going to move us into our second way that you really can sabotage your environment if you're not paying attention. And it's the people you hang with. Why did you do that?
I'm sorry, that didn't sound cool.
No,
hanging around the wrong people.
You sound like you've been smoking your whole life.
No, I felt like I sounded like a villain.
Okay, got you.
Hanging around.
If you're hanging around that person, that's really gonna be bad.
Hanging around the wrong people.
And if you hang around somebody who sounds like that, you probably
you better run. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A really cool. I don't even know whose quote this is, but it was, "Show me the 5 people you hang around the most, and I'm gonna show you your future." And it's so true. We all have this instinct to be leaders and kind of show the way and teach and do all these different things, possibly, right? I think we all kind of internally want to be that person who leads the way and not a follower. But we also like to fit in. We also like to feel like we have our tribe, and we like to connect with our people, whether that be friends, family, and all in between, right? But over time, you'll notice that a lot of the people that you hang around with, you slowly start to become more like, because you have this attraction to this affinity towards them. So if you're hanging around people that aren't kind of moving you in the direction where you want to be, who you want to become, it's only a matter of time before things start to shift for you. Yeah, because the people that you're around, they tend to influence what you do, where you go. And I think the hardest part about okay, so I'm living a healthier lifestyle, so you mean I can no longer be friends with Jill anymore because she doesn't want to live a healthier lifestyle? It breaks my heart to even say that. What do you do in that situation, right? You don't just drop your friends. What does something like that look like? Yeah, that's where you have those crucial conversations, and you learn how to go into a conversation with their interests in mind. I mean, at the end of the day, it's you, it's your happiness, it's your life. But people that you spend a lot of time with are going to be people you love, people you really care about. So you don't want to like just straight up be like, hey, you're a bad influence. Like, yo, you got to get your shit together because I can't be with you.
Well, no, I don't even think it has to be presented in that manner, right? Like, just like you said, you're not going to do it that way because we are all on different paths. We are all following, our own belief systems and doing the things that fulfill us, right? So something that might fulfill Jill may not fulfill me, or vice versa. But very well just sitting down having those conversations like, yo, Jill, like, I know you want to go out tonight, it's Friday night with the girls, but I'm really trying to keep my drinks to a minimum of 1 drink. Could you please, like, just don't pressure me and like, egging me on to drink more and drink more, because I have this goal that I'm trying to achieve. Yeah. And if your friends and family love you, they'll do what you ask.
Because a lot of times your friends and family or people just you hang with don't really know what your goals are, what your aspirations are, and usually that tends to because at the end of the day they want you to be happy too.
Yeah.
So they're gonna push you to do things that it's gonna be fun, that and that might mean drinking a little bit more, that might mean eating this extra appetizer or whatever it is, because it's fun, you feel good in the moment. But if you actually can let them know what you're trying to work on and let them know how important it is, and hey, I really would appreciate if you support me in this, most likely they're going to either A, be more supportive and help you along that journey and maybe even join you with that, right? Or B, you're going to notice that they're just not the type of person that really cares about anybody but themselves. Damn!
Yeah, damn, mic drop. And then at that point,
oh gosh, and then at that point you can make an educated decision
on whether or not you still want this person in your life.
Yeah, because we want people that are we pour into people, right? And we want people that are gonna pour into us as well. Has to be a win-win.
It has to be a dynamic relationship. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that.
You like that?
I like the way you kind of do the sauce.
And the last thing, you got this, Kim. The last thing was to
not making an effort.
Not making an effort. You go ahead. Go for it.
The last thing is when you do not make the effort to stage out the red velvet rope.
Oh, the red velvet rope. What is that?
Yeah. So essentially putting up those guardrails to lead you down the direction or the path that you want to go. So think about the movie stars. I want to stand up and just do like a catwalk. Yes, like the Grammys.
They got that red velvet rope to let them know, hey,
to let the stars
where you need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That this is the direction that you need to go. But if you don't have that red velvet rope up, you don't really know, what path they're supposed to take, and you're going to end up in the back alley.
Yep. So I think about a ninja that has been working on his weight loss, and for a long time he's struggled. I mean, like, he's been overweight for a long time, and we usually had a common conversation or theme of our conversation, and it was always, I'm trying, it's just hard because there's always junk in the house, and I don't want to put the burden on my wife to not buy these things, because I should have the discipline and willpower to not go for it. And I will always tell them, I'll be like, I know, it's not, if someone really loves and supports you, it's not a burden for them to support you in your goals, right? And it's also very important that you have the self-awareness to know when you need help, right? That's why a lot of people come to us and ask for, hey, I need some more support. I need some more strategy. I need some more accountability and push, because what I'm doing, or just me being accountable to this myself, is not working. And that's perfectly fine, because there's areas of our life that we're just not good in, that we just don't know, that we just don't have the skill, that we also just don't have the time to do.
Right.
So we would always have that conversation, and we would bring it up, but I could tell that he really didn't want to have those conversations, and he didn't want to put that pressure on her.
And before you keep going, one thing that I do want to mention in terms of willpower, our brain, our mind, it's a mental muscle, right? So just the same way when we're in the gym and we're doing our bench press, we're putting those reps in, but our arms are going to get fatigued at some point, and our arms are just not going to be able to lift that weight anymore. The same thing goes for when you're making decisions over and over and over and over again, and you're telling yourself, no, don't have that, no, don't have that, no, don't have that. that you are flexing that mental muscle. And if you have that stuff at home, and if it's right there in your face and you're constantly telling, oh no, don't go into the pantry, no, don't go into the pantry, at some point that discipline and willpower is going to go out the window because you are fatigued. So keep going.
So I kept pushing him to have that conversation. And he actually did that in last year in 2020. And 2020, even though we had the pandemic and all this craziness happened, this was his best year from a health standpoint, from a weight loss standpoint, from an activity standpoint. And one thing I really contributed to is he had more support at the house, and he had less influence to eat the wrong things, the things that weren't going to necessarily get him closer to his goal. And you'll be surprised of how much people will support you and how people will be there for you when you let them know what's important.
Yeah.
So that is how you stage that red velvet rope, is you set up these things around your lifestyle in your house, at your workplace, wherever it might be, that moves you closer to where you want to be.
Here's another example. Not obviously, but me and Josh have different goals. I was always skinny growing up. Josh, on the other hand, very athletic and
straight sexy my entire life. I really came out looking like this. I was just beautiful.
No, you did not. But anyways, it's easy for Josh to put on body fat, which is, it's totally fine. Those are his genetics. But for me, it's a little bit harder. So when I go to put on muscle mass or whatever, I have to eat more food, consume more calories, get more protein in. Whereas for Josh, it's very easy for him to consume and gain weight.
Oh yeah, baby.
So our goals are a little bit different, and I could very easily get away with having sweets and stuff and not put on extra body fat, whereas Josh, on the other hand, he started to eat too much, essentially.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really enjoy food.
You don't enjoy food because you consume it in like 2 minutes.
I eat it really fast, but I enjoy it while I'm eating it.
But listen, so what ended up happening one day, Josh came to me and he's like, hey, this is where he was setting up those red velvet ropes and, creating the path so that way he can get to his destination. He's like, yo, Kim, yo, Shawty, let me tell you something. That's how he came to me. He called me Shawty. Yo, Shawty, I want to tell you something. No, I'm lying. Okay.
I don't remember that.
Well, anyways, he came to me. He said, I need you to stop buying sweets in the house, because when they're in the house, I can't control myself and I can't stop myself from having it, so I just don't need it to be in the house. And I'm like, yo, done deal. I got you. I'm going to support you in that, right?
Most of the time.
But no, you do a great job. I do. But on the same token, I know that I can, right? I can have a Nutty Buddy and be okay. So when I went grocery shopping, I bought one.
Nutty Buddies.
Sponsor us.
Do you know what a Nutty Buddy is? I don't think I know. It's not called Nutty Buddies, but
I thought it was called a Nutty Buddy. Anyways, it's like or Nutty Butter, whatever. It's chocolate and has peanut butter filling and it has like 3 layers. It's like a wafer.
So good.
But anyways, I bought a box. I remember it was Nutty Buddies. I don't even like Nutty Buddies like that. I don't know why I bought these.
Oh, those are amazing.
But anyways, I bought a box of Nutty Butters and I'm like, okay, let me hurry up and get in the house and take the Nutty Butters out and put them underneath the sink so that way I can hide them from him. And I did just that. And mind you, like, I have tons of willpower when it comes to food. Like, I can let something sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
I don't even know if it's willpower is the right term. Right? You just don't have. It's not like you're denying yourself of it.
I'm not denying myself of it, but I have, in my opinion, cultivated a very healthy way of eating foods in moderation. Like, I don't overconsume. I don't binge eat on foods. And growing up, I think there was a part of that as well, because I don't know. It just isn't something that
some people just have it.
No, and it's totally fine. It's something that it's just something that most a lot of people have to work towards. But I hid them under the sink, and then one day I come home. And they were probably under there for like 3 weeks. One day I come home, and mind you, I had them under the sink with like the dish soap, the laundry detergent. Like, they were probably not in a very healthy spot. I had them with a lot of chemicals. And this one, what were you doing under the sink?
I had to refill.
He had to refill the soap dispenser, the dish soap dispenser. So he went on there to get the dish soap, and he saw the Nutty Butters. And I came home, and Josh was like, I found the Nutty Butters. And I'm like,
I did have one too.
You had 2.
I did have 2.
He had 2. that day.
Yeah, but I could have had the whole box, and
But you could have had the whole box and you didn't. But my point in saying that is, if you have those conversations with people, like Josh, you know, put up those guardrails and had me assist in making sure that he was, you know, getting closer and closer to what he was trying to achieve or maintain. The people who love you will help you. I do my best in making sure that
you consistently do it.
And I consistently do it.
Have conversations about it because it's easy to forget, and goals do change. But hopefully, those 3 ways kind of gave you some ideas of, if you're not paying attention, your environment and the things around you could really play a big role on if you see success with weight loss and health, or if you don't. So instead of trying to get more discipline, get more willpower, just be so strong and resist, create an environment, create the right conversations, cultivate that red velvet rope to lead you down the right direction, and you're gonna be fine, shouty.
You gonna be fine, shouty.